get lost in technical detail. The main point you're making is there was a conspiracy. Let me bring others in and let me try and ask that. Well, that's what you say.
And things would have gone worse had the police not taken action.
That's what you say. That in a sense is the critical call. Let me bring you in, Sunanda Dattare. Do you really believe this argument that there was a conspiracy? That there was possibly a terrorist threat, as the Delhi police says? That if things hadn't been handled at midnight, it could have got worse, and this somehow justifies the high-handedness as well as the ham-handedness. Do you accept any of that, or is it simply a convenient excuse being concocted by a desperate party and government to try and find some explanation for what is otherwise just madness?
Well, I must confess that this conspiracy theory, right reaction and left anarchists, does sound a bit like an afterthought to me. But I can't see what else they could have done, going back to your bigger question, in the face of mobocracy. That's what it is. It is mobocracy. We are a parliamentary democracy. We have established channels of protest and redress, and those channels should not be flouted like this. And it's such a silly common denominator thing to say, bring back all the foreign black money abroad. You can't snap your fingers and bring back the money. The causes of black money in this country have to be tackled, not the fact that the money is there. The crime, the swindling, the bakshish that takes place here that generates black money in every industry, not excluding the media, is what should be tackled, not the fact that the money is there.
Okay, let me take up that point, Prakash Javadekar, that this was mobocracy which no government can tolerate, that there was a conspiracy, as you've heard Satyavrat Chaturvedi allege. Today, it seems that there is certain proof that's coming out, a certain measure of proof, when Baba Ramdev is saying that he is going to arm 11,000 protesters, train them and send them to Delhi. It's almost as if he's, through that one remark, proving that he did have strange motives, if I can put it that way. And so, in the light of that, is the government all that wrong to have behaved the way it did?
It was totally wrong for government to do what it did in the midnight, because if I would have been the government, what was the course for me if I see that 25,000 crowd sitting like this and I want to cancel the permission? Yes, government is right when it wants to do after certain inputs. Then you would have waited till 6 o'clock, and till that you would have provided more security in Pendal and outside Pendal. Then at 6 o'clock you would have told people, taking them all into confidence, that we are arresting your leaders on the stage and you are also stand arrested, but you are released.
In other words, but hang on. Do you understand the implication of what you're saying? Can I just interrupt? Do you understand the implication of what you're saying? You're not disagreeing with what the government did, you're disagreeing with the way they did it. You're simply saying, instead of clearing the place at 1 at night when people were asleep, wait till 6 in the morning. So your difference is one of style, not principle.
I'm objecting to both. But what I am saying, in any situation, not on that day, but any situation like this, and if government has to take certain things, then it can, there are many civilized ways to do that. But they forgot the civilized ways and they were wrong at all. There was no conspiracy. It was like Bush saying, attacking Iraq, that there are weapons of mass destruction.
Let's not expand it to Bush and Iraq. Let's stick to India. We have enough controversy in our own country without having to import others from elsewhere. There is a distinct strain in the answers I'm getting from Sunanda Dattare, that although the government's image may have collapsed in the eyes of the press, it was unavoidable, as the Prime Minister said. And there is a hint there that although we're being critical, if we were in the government's position, we might have all had to do the same thing. So is the government really getting a bad name? And if it is this going to last, or will people after a little while rethink their whole way through it?
Kamal, you have to go back to the situation again and again. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi wrote a letter to Anna Hazare. He was very respectable at that point of time. You had all the inputs with you. You are NSC chairperson. You are the Prime Minister of the country. You are writing to Baba Ramdev. At that time, writing the letter, he had no RSS background. I think he didn't have the RSS. He acquired only after that. The question is, what is this mobocracy word being used to defame a movement? They were peaceful people sitting there. I am objecting the question, the government, if they were so angry with them, should not have encouraged 5 ministers to go to the airport. They should not. I personally believe the government of India, which is elected, which has got authority of the state, should not have sent...
Permitted interruption. Are you therefore saying that the bad name the government has got will continue and that it's not going to lessen with time?
Obviously, once you recognize a person is sending your cabinet minister, you are giving some kind of a credibility to the movement and the person.
Okay.
Suddenly it becomes a saffron, suddenly it becomes a mobocrat. That is not acceptable.
What about the point, which almost half agreed with you, made by Prakash Javadekar, that in principle perhaps the government had to act, but the way it acted is the mistake. It took the right step, but it did it not only at the wrong time, but in the wrong manner. And that is really what people object to, that you turned violent on sleeping people who were peaceful. Had you done it at 8 in the morning, having given them sufficient notice, it would have looked and felt very different.
May I say, and may I ask one simple question to those who are objecting to all this? Has it happened for the first time, a police action in this country? Never before has the police action.
But does that excuse the bad police action?
Just a minute. Let me complete. If you interject, then it will be very difficult. You can't take me selectively. What I am trying to say, everywhere, and at least BJP shouldn't say this, the way they handled the situation in Gujarat and the way the massacre was taking place in Gujarat, they don't remember anything of that when they talk today of this police action. But having said that, let me explain one thing. It was absolutely necessary, had we waited till morning in that day, let me tell you from my personal knowledge, there would have been at least 50,000 plus people coming in, and then it would have been a worst scenario for a police.
You mean those people were coming at night?
I am saying with responsibility, there was a total complete plan to bring in lots of people in the morning. And what was Ritambara doing there? And in the next morning,
she has a right to be there. You may not like it. She has a right to be there.
Bajrang Dal and outfits of RSS were going to join in the morning.
Does it matter?
And if that would have been allowed, things would have worsened, and perhaps the situation would have been much worse.
But don't the VHP, Sadhvi Ritambara and the RSS have a right to peacefully join a protest?
No, because look in the initial stage. Remember one thing. Baba Ramdev had asked for a permission for 5,000 Yog Shivir camp.
Then you should have cancelled it a lot earlier.
No, that was the notice given to him in the afternoon that very day. When there were more than 5,000 people,
I'm going to take a break at that point. I'm going to take a break at that point. I'm going to come.
He was given a notice. Okay. He did not respond
to
it.
And
then ultimately police had
very
to
quickly,
take
one
action.
sentence. The question is that in the 10:30 in the evening, Mr. Subodh Khan Sahib says, we are sending a letter. That is 10:30. And 11:30 the letters are delivered. They could have waited till morning. At that time, 10:30, along with the letter, cancellation should have gone. Obviously, something happened between 10:30 and 12:30, which provoked the government to do something else.
Arun Jaitley says rather cleverly, suggests that there's not even any method to the government's madness. Let's take a break.